Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go for our another little Zoom meeting sponsored by Karissa. Actually narrated by Karissa with a great slide presentation. We're going to go over the endocrine system. And is that an important topic, you think?
Extremely, yes.
Yeah. Everything revolves around the homeostasis and I like to say stays in balance. Nothing's ever in balance. I love how we say we got to balance this or balance that. Nothing's ever in balance. It's always adapting, changing, moving. Even walking is falling. In case you didn't, realize that. You fall forward and then that foot swings ahead, hopefully catches you, and that propels you forward. So I love this. Let's see if we can figure out how to help our endocrine system stay in a more homeostasis and really kind of allow the body to function optimally on a regular basis all the time. Carissa, start us off, buddy. Let's do
All
this.
right. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about the endocrine system. This is a topic that really excites me because I just think it's so interesting and it definitely just brings to light how intelligent our body is and how everything works together. So the endocrine system is your body's chemical communication network. It uses hormones to coordinate growth, metabolism, stress response, energy, mood, sleep, and reproduction. And they all work together to maintain balance, like we said, homeostasis. And maybe we're not always in balance, but our body's always trying to maintain that balance. So, how does it work? Glands release hormones into the bloodstream. The hormones act as messengers, telling the organs and tissues what to do. The feedback loops help keep levels balanced, and one imbalance can affect the entire system. So, we'll go into detail with this, but this is just more like a broad overview and the order that everything works in. So, some of the major endocrine glands and their roles. Some of us may be familiar, well, all of us are familiar with all of them, but whoever's listening, you may have heard some of these or probably all of them. So, we're going to start with the hypothalamus. This is the control center linking the nervous system and endocrine system. It senses stress, sleep, hunger, and environment. And then it tells the pituitary what to release. So the pituitary gland is often called the master gland. And the pituitary gland releases the hormones that then control all the other glands. So it influences growth, thyroid function, adrenal activity, and reproduction. Then we have the thyroid gland. The thyroid regulates metabolism, energy, body temperature. It affects weight, mood, heart rate, and digestion. We have the adrenal glands. So they manage stress response, so cortisol and adrenaline. They affect blood pressure, immune function, and energy. We have the pancreas. The pancreas regulates blood sugar through insulin and glycogen. It directly impacts energy, cravings, and inflammation. And then we have our reproductive glands, ovaries, and testes. These control estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and influence muscle mass, bone health, mood, and libido. So we're going to go into how these all work together. So this is just a little overview of each and what they do. So we're talking about balancing the endocrine system. So this is the cycle that it works in. So the brain is going to sense sufficient hormone levels in the hypothalamus and the pituitary. The pituitary is going to signal glands to reduce production, saying, we're good, we don't need anything else, everything's fine. They continue to reduce the production. Hormone levels in your blood stabilize. Your thyroid, so we're going to explain the thyroid hormones a little bit. So TRH is the thyroid releasing hormone. This is made in the hypothalamus and it tells the pituitary to wake up and produce TSH. TSH is a thyroid stimulating hormone. It's made in the pituitary and tells the pancreas to create thyroid hormone. So it creates T4, which is it's sort of like a storage. It's not an active form of the thyroid hormone, but it converts to T3. And when T3 and T4 are high enough, then the thyroid releasing hormone will say, stop, we don't need to produce anymore. So that's just kind of like an overview of, when things have enough, they're like, okay, we're good. If it's imbalanced, okay, we need more. So the thyroid, for example, if your TSH is too low, you probably have an overactive thyroid, so it's going to produce a little bit less. And if it's high, uh you have an underactive thyroid, so it's going to try to produce more to maintain homeostasis. And so this is important because it prevents overproduction, maintains homeostasis, and allows adaptation to stress and environment. So, like in a perfect world, right? Everything would be releasing the amount, not releasing the perfect amount so that everything's perfect. But like you said, it's not always like that, but that's how it's designed to be.
Nailed it. I mean, honestly, that's literally, and you have to have conversions. The liver has to be working well. Like all these things have to be kind of working to make everything seem like it flows perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And it does a really good job when you think about all of the stress, physical, chemical, and emotional stressors that we're under on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
Physical means, sitting all day long or exercise or whatever, or a stressed joint or not moving well on a shoulder. The chemical would be all of the things that's in our environment and also that we're eating and ingesting, right? Or breathing in, right? Then the emotional, side, obviously, we're out there, we're interacting with people, we're working, we're doing all this stuff. There's a ton of emotional stressors that are going on. So your body's trying to regulate all of that and then still balance out everything else to where you're feeling like you can handle it. So, wow,
Yeah.
is there a lot going on every single day?
Yeah. So, to your point, the first example that we're going to look at
Mm-hmm.
for a hormone or an endocrine imbalance is chronic stress. And I just think that these are so cool and interesting because, I don't know, you might not realize how much stress is affecting every area of your body. So I'll kind of go through what happens. So, the brain, the hypothalamus and pituitary, they increase an imbalance and increase stress signaling. So the hypothalamus is going to tell the pituitary we need to, increase cortisol, we need to increase adrenaline hormone. It's going to tell that to the adrenals. The adrenal is then going to release cortisol, and then that's going to raise blood sugar in the pancreas. That's going to suppress immune function, increase inflammation, and then cause disruption in the thyroid. So all of them are connected. So the stress response is now affecting your blood sugar. It's affecting your immune response. It's affecting your ability to, maintain a healthy weight. So one chain reaction creates issues all throughout the body. So some signs this can create persistent fatigue, low energy, abdominal weight gain, sleep disturbances, anxiety, irritability, mood swings, brain fog, poor concentration, digestive issues and bloating, and in a weakened immune system. Um, so yeah, this is an incredible, I think, example of just how much stress impacts the body and how intelligent your body is, because it's not doing anything wrong, it's reacting to what you're putting into your body to try to balance homeostasis. Like your
Yeah,
body's
or
doing
that
its job,
yeah, or that environment, right? It's responding adequately to the stress that it's under.
Right.
100%. And that cycle then just continues to spin until you change either what you're putting in or the environment you're in or the stress response that you're under. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And that cortisol is being increased because it needs energy to run.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's telling that body, create more insulin, create more sugar, create more, let's go, here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it
Yeah, like
is.
you said, it's gonna continue to go until the root cause is addressed, which we talk about a lot in this practice.
Mm,
Um, but like one thing I just wanted to touch on, for example, like digestive issues and bloating. I'll be like, I don't know, give me some digestive supplements.
yeah.
But we have to look at the root cause. Like, are you having digestive disturbances because your gut microbiome is messed up or your cortisol is messed up? Like, what is it? Like, what are we actually looking at? Like, if we just look at this part, we may not be able to fix it because we can't find the root problem and it's still going to perpetuate.
Yeah, and that's what I think about when we look at our vitamins and our protocols and our what we're trying to do. It takes so many different levels of support that people walk out of here with maybe three or four or maybe five vitamins and going, "Oh, we're covering like all of that versus
Right.
just going after the gas and bloating in the digestive system
Yeah.
because the stress response is out of control."
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
so cool to see it. Yeah.
So the next example that we're going to go over is blood sugar and insulin. So we kind of explained in the last slide how, an increase in cortisol can increase blood sugar and it does the whole loop, but we're going to start here with just a blood sugar insulin increase. So frequent sugar intake, repeated insulin spikes in the pancreas creates the cells to become less sensitive to insulin. So we've all probably been familiar with the word insulin resistance. So blood sugar is going to so insulin is going to remain in the bloodstream for a longer period of time, and the adrenal glands are going to release cortisol to try to stabilize it. Like, we're going to try to fix this problem, something's wrong. That's going to suppress the thyroid hormone, the T3 to T4 conversion, leading to slower metabolism, fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, an increase in inflammation, system wide. And then your brain perceives the stress and is going to increase hormonal survival signaling. So cortisol, pancreas increase insulin, so it's, again, this loop that's going to keep going until we find the root cause, which in this instance is decreasing our sugar intake. And what I think about this one that's interesting is that, the more sugar that you uh, ingest, I
Inject.
guess, or eat, your body's going to crave it because it's trying to overcompensate. Like, the pancreas is not going to stop insulin production; it's going to keep doing it to try to overcompensate, like, what's going on in your body. So, clinical sciences can create energy crashes after meals, sugar cravings, weight resistance, poor sleep, increased stress, tolerance issues. You may have normal labs, but persistent symptoms. Um, so yeah, blood sugar isn't just a nutrition issue. Like, it's a hormonal command signal, and it's going to affect the entire endocrine system. So, if we're eating a lot of sugar and we're like, oh, I just like can't lose this weight, we're not looking at all of the other parts of our body that it's affecting.
Yeah.
Like, you may be only noticing the weight, but like a couple years from now,
Wow.
you may be having a lot more problems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Joint
I
inflammatory. Yeah.
yeah, I like these just because they give more it's more like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, don't eat sugar, it's bad for you, whatever, but then to have the reason why, it gives you more of a sort of uh what is the word?
Explanation. Yeah. Just explanation of really what it does when you
Well, it
eat it.
gives you more of a purpose to make better choices,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Totally. And that's it. Right. And remember that those catecholamines or those epinephrine, norepinephrine, those stimulations from the cortisol release, it happens in seconds. It's right away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the survival instinct that's in our bodies because if we didn't have that, we would be dead. I mean, seriously, it'd be an animal would eat us and that'd be it and whatever, right? We are always on edge because we're trying to survive. And so
Yeah.
is every cell in the body. And so this is where when you start to understand this whole endocrine system and understand how it works, this is why it's so important to move well, to eat well, to function better, all that kind of stuff. It just adds value to everything that we do in the practice.
Yeah, and we'll get into this in a later slide, but like we said, the body is so intelligent, but we also have to help it.
Yeah,
It can't
100%.
do it by itself. So the next example for an endocrine imbalance is endocrine disrupting chemicals. So our skin is the largest organ in our body, and this was something that was just interesting to me to find out, like the fragrances you're using, the scented lotions, the cleaner for your countertops, whatever you're cleaning your clothes with in the dishwasher, shampoo, body wash, whatever. it's seeping into your skin and it's disrupting your hormones. So some examples of this, more than I just said, but plastics, pesticides, personal care products, household cleaners, processed foods. So it's not just about your skin, it's about what you're ingesting too. So these toxins, they actually mimic or block hormones at receptor sites. And hopefully by now we've gained enough knowledge to know that that's not good.
No, no.
So the hormones can't deliver accurate messages. They get really confused, and they'll increase hormone signaling. Either they're getting a message that like we have too much of this or we're not getting enough or whatever. Like they're still doing their job, but they're just very confused. So this creates a system-wide endocrine imbalance. The feedback loops fail to shut off properly. So like your thyroid may not know that we have enough, it's shut off completely, so it doesn't know, and so it may be getting more, and you can have an overactive thyroid, as an example. So your hormones clearance slows, excess hormones recirculate, kind of just said that, and then your liver detox pathways become overwhelmed, and you're not able to detox these things as well. They're getting kind of like clogged up. Like I said, the body is still signaling we've been talking about this, but your endocrine system is still trying to do what it's supposed to do, but the message is just distorted. This can create thyroid dysfunction, blood sugar instability, estrogen dominance or low testosterone, fatigue and brain fog, weight resistance, and increased inflammation. And I also just think this is such an interesting thing to look at, because like a thyroid dysfunction, for example, or having low testosterone or too much estrogen. A couple years ago, I would have never been like, oh, it's the perfume,
Yeah.
like I don't think that that's common knowledge. And so it's just interesting to just be aware of, the household products, what you're putting on your body. Like obviously what we eat and how we move is important, but just the toxins in our environment. And we live in a very toxic environment anyway. So that is why supplementation is very helpful, but
Yeah.
just making the best choices that we can to keep our environment as clean as it can be within our own control.
Yeah, I was telling you guys, remember I brought that up the other day, right? We're seeing lead now, high amounts of lead in hair analysis. And the reason why is they're using Dollar Tree lipstick,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are coming from China. These are not, and so they're just seeping in and coming out through the hair. That's a way to test mineral and toxicity levels in the body. So it
It's
is
not
so
just the
true.
cheapest lipstick, by the way. There's expensive lipstick that has lead in it also.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
of
I
course. Well,
think
they're using
a
the same
lot of
stuff. Yeah.
lipsticks are made with lead, and I'm not really
Yeah.
sure why.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So anyway, so just think about this stuff. And and this is what's great about having this conversation. There's just so many things that we're working on, and the body is constantly bombarded with them. This is why, like you said, we do supplements to increase the body's ability to detox when it's supposed to detox.
Mm-hmm.
The medical community doesn't want to talk about toxicity or deficiencies because they can't really give you a medication that's not toxic. So they don't talk about it. And they don't want to talk about deficiencies because what medication actually fills a deficiency? Nothing really, right? So when you start to realize that removing organs and adding in drugs really doesn't really move us in a good direction toward health, it can save our lives in a pinch, but this is not the best idea. The best idea is really paying attention and listening to our bodies and then supporting them properly. All right, keep going. I like this. We're on a roll.
All right, so we kind of went over this, but signs of endocrine imbalance, just overall fatigue, energy crashes, weight gain, difficulty losing weight, sleep disturbances, mood changes, brain fog, blood sugar swings, hormonal symptoms. These are things to, like you said, listen to your body, be on the lookout for. Like if you're used to taking a nap at whatever time every day, like that might not be normal. I don't know.
Yeah, right. And guess what? Like that is 90% of our population. I mean, they all have somewhere along, there's something in there that they're dealing with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's like you said, it's important to be in tune and know like what's normal versus what's not. I think a lot of, the problem today is people are very desensitized.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Well, and it's because of what they've been taught. Really, don't
Mhm.
come to me until you have a true problem. Well, these
Yeah.
are all problems that you may not think is. I just don't sleep well. It's just or I'm not a morning person. Well, that's just who
Right.
I am, right? No, maybe you don't get enough cortisol produced early in the morning, so you don't feel energized. This is, we just take it like this is just who I am, or I'm just getting old, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We come into East Cobb Spine and Sport to feel our absolute best.
I love it. Love it.
All right. So things that support a healthy endocrine system. So stable blood sugar, nutrition matters here, knowing what you're eating and knowing what's good for you and what's not really great for you. Stress management, that one, there's plenty of ways to manage stress. Quality sleep, movement and exercise is huge. Proper nervous system function, which we'll get into, and reducing your toxic load. So your endocrine system works as a team, and if we support one area, it's going to help support the whole body.
Yeah.
All right. So nutrition, chiropractic, and lifestyle, how they all help the endocrine system. So we just kind of went over this, but your hormones act as chemical messengers. They travel through the bloodstream. They respond to signals from the nervous system, and they're built from nutrients and influenced by lifestyles. So chiropractic and how this fits into your nervous system and endocrine balance. So it's going to improve nervous system communication. It's going to reduce stress signals to the brain, supports proper feedback loops between your glands, and helps the body adapt to physical, chemical, and emotional stress. So chiropractic is more than just cracking backs. It is improving the nervous system communication, which helps the endocrine system do what it's supposed to do. You want to touch on this one? Or should I keep
No, I think it's all, I mean, you nailed it. Honestly, it is such a important part. And any segment that's not moving well is a physiological stress on the body. And if you wait for the pain to show up, it's probably been there too long. When you see adaptations like bone spurs or lipping and spurring or degeneration or osteophytes or things like that, or any kind of osteolytic lesion or anything like that, it's taken time for those to develop. Well, that's where we want to come in and help movement to get fluid out, to help with inflammatory response, to downregulate that stress response so that your body then can heal and be functioning properly. It's just such a simple concept that I don't know how or why it got so complicated to everyone that they're like, what do we say, Travis? Like 85% of professional athletes, 85 to 90% of professional athletes are using chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 10 to 14% of the normal population is using it. What happened? I mean, those elite athletes are trying to function and perform optimally. Well, what's wrong with with us or myself? I'm not professional, but don't I want to function better and move better and feel better and live longer and all that good stuff? And aren't I more valuable as a doctor if I'm feeling good and moving good and functioning well?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Right? So, yeah,
or
this
as
is
a grandma, a mom, a friend.
100%. Right. And that's the environment, right? We need the community to raise our families better. We can't keep depending on just the schools. Like there's so much to this that all comes back to improving everything around us, our environment, our function will only help for all of the problems that we have in our society. Give me a couple $1,000,000, I'll change the community. Yeah. Put some programs together.
All right. So nutrition, stabilizing blood sugar, again, key for adrenal and pancreatic health, providing minerals for thyroid and adrenal function. So making sure that we're, eating the right foods to fuel our bodies, supporting detox pathways that clear excess hormones, and reducing inflammation that disrupts hormonal signaling. So your body needs fuel, McDonald's isn't going to do that for you. It's pretty easy to spot a healthy choice over not, and it's probably not going to be in a box.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's the best thing to look at. If it looks
And I'll add this, and the body can handle small stressors pretty well. It's just when those small stressors become every single day, day in and day out, that becomes now a toxic environment. And that to me is really like the people that eat McDonald's every day. If I wouldn't recommend it anyway, but even if there's a chance that they need one just for a day or two or something happens, they're out, they're running behind and the kids need a quick meal or something like that. It's if you do it every day that body just goes, I can't keep this up.
I can't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so so lifestyle, making sure we're getting good sleep, making sure we're, managing stress the best we can, we're getting movement in, screen time and light exposure, just being conscious of like what we're doing, the healthy habits that we have and the things that maybe we need to do less of, like scrolling on our phone right before we go to bed or right when we wake up. So yeah. So the body's going to believe what you repeatedly show it, which is, pretty, on par with what you just said. Like if we're repeatedly eating McDonald's, our body's going to believe that like it's going to have to try to compensate for that, but if we're constantly eating good meals, we're getting good sleep, we're moving our body, it's going to function the way that it's supposed to.
Totally agree.
So, this is just kind of like a wrapping up, but the nervous system controls the entire loop. Adrenals affect thyroid output. Thyroid influences metabolism and energy. Blood sugar impacts hormones and inflammation. And stress creates the adrenal hormones to rise. So everything communicates, nothing operates by itself.
Yeah.
And then again, signs the system needs support: fatigue, energy, weight resistance, brain fog, mood changes, feeling off, blood sugar swings, poor sleep. These are communication issues, not something to ignore. And so our approach in the office at East Cobb Spine and Sport is we don't chase symptoms. We support the system that creates balance. So making sure we're getting adjusted to improve nervous system signaling, eating good food to provide the raw materials for our hormones, and our lifestyle, getting movement in, reducing stress, getting good sleep to support our body's healing. And then we create a balance the best way that we can.
No, I love it. Yeah. That's covering so many bases right there, honestly. I mean, that's literally, the triad, right? I mean, that's literally trying to help support everything that we can on a regular basis and then reap the benefit. Golly. I mean, I don't know how many people, gosh, I just did a lady in today going, are you clairvoyant? How do you know this stuff? And honestly, like, how do you know this is out? How do you know? If we watch the body and you see it, you can see breakdown. Breakdown's not that hard to really understand if you know what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we can fix the breakdown, then you don't have those same stressors. And then your body can thrive and live in homeostasis and balance. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
our end slide.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a good one to end on. I like that one. Well, yeah, Karissa, I mean, there's so much to this. And I mean, the slides are awesome. And I love how you show that pathway and the chain of how everything goes together. I mean, it's brilliant to understand that that's literally what the body is doing on a regular basis, and then what we can do to help support it. Otherwise, you're just chasing your tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's continuous. It never stops until all of a sudden something runs down or runs out. And what I want you to also know, remember those adrenals, thyroid, pituitary, ovaries, mammaries, uterus, every one of those endocrine, pancreas, every one of those endocrine glands helps support or can be affected by that stress response equally.
Yeah.
Even though we may see a sign or symptom in the thyroid or in the adrenal or in the digestive system. But the doctors, the medical community is only going to focus on things that they can give a drug to.
Yeah.
So that's where they go. They go straight to the thyroid, even though it's an adrenal issue. They go straight to, digestive, even though it's
or they go straight to birth control.
Yes, exactly. Right. And this is where we mess up the system and we suppress versus vitalize and really let the body work through it and understand what's going on. So don't miss this. This is such an important piece to really trying to move us in a better direction. And this is why we do this. So, Karissa, great job. Any questions? Claire, I know you've probably got 4 or 5 things you want to say, so go ahead and chime in. Travis, I know you probably got 4, or Sam, but go ahead and let's open up the conversation a little bit. Claire, go ahead. We got to unmute you, Claire. Let me there
Sorry.
you go.
No, I just thought the whole thing was wonderful. It's my favorite topic to learn about, and I just think it's fascinating how everything is connected. And, anytime you make a change that impacts the endocrine system, like everything else has to adjust to it. And with what we do here, I just think it's great that we're always trying to uplift the endocrine system. We're not really trying to shove it in any direction. And usually, what we're doing is supporting the adrenal glands and then provide the nutrients for proper thyroid function. And like if that doesn't work right off the bat, the answer is usually just going upstream to the hypothalamus and pituitary glands, and then once maybe that if someone's missing that and needs that support, it's like everything just turns on in the body,
Yeah.
like everything gets better. And even just supporting the endocrine system, you can influence energy, sleep, digestion, like all kinds of things. Inflammation. It's just fascinating. So I love that presentation. I thought you did a really great and a very thorough job with that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else, Trav, Sam, besides saying how amazing this endocrine
I was just
system
gonna
is?
add in like kind of going back to like the toxic things that can add to some of the endocrine issues. I took care of someone the other day who was talking about doing aromatherapy, and I was like, well, you got to make sure we're using like some healthier quality, high quality products instead, like essential oils instead of like
Yeah.
candles and things like that, because then it's like we just don't want to disrupt the endocrine function or hormones or anything like that. So sometimes you think you're doing something good for yourself through aromatherapy or something like that, but if you're not using the right product, then you actually hurting overall function of the body as well.
Connection.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, there has to be more to this. I think we love you. Oh yeah, Chris, you can hold that, drop that out, and I think we can you make us big
A
again?
little
There we go. Everybody on?
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
No, I totally agree, Travis. That's a great point too. And yeah, the people don't know this. They're just kind of winging it. So they don't really know. They've heard something or saw it on Instagram, and all of a sudden that's true. So we got to follow
Yeah.
it 100%. So, well, listen, I think we're going to wrap this up. I think it's great. Sam, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's crazy how many like just everyday products contain, you
Endocrine
know,
disruptors. Yeah.
well, yeah, it's just like from hair care product to deodorant to like kitchenware to, anything like we use on a daily basis just can have some of those endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Yeah. It's almost like they're out to slow us down and keep us sick. Wait a minute.
It's
Did I
like
say it right?
95% of the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
I just found out my favorite eggs are fake. There's that.
Oh, no.
Bioengineered.
Sort
3D
of.
printed.
Yeah.
3D printed.
Not 3D printed, but definitely jacked up for
Oh.
$16.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Krista, what are those eggs? You got to let us know now. Hey, who's eating
Vital
them?
Farms. So it used to be like a mom and pop farm, and then Amazon bought them. And now the eggs are like 50% basically canola oil, and they dye them orange so that they look, like a healthier option. And they're $16 for an 18 count. Yeah. So, bummer.
Marissa, thank you for that. That's a little, we all need to know that one. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, and eggs. I mean, come on. How amazing is the egg?
I know.
That is literally everything, nutrients, minerals, fat, everything you need for life in that egg. And we're all told to avoid them back in the day, right? No good fat. You had to do just the whites or just the yolk or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, listen, we can keep talking about this. I love it. Great job, Karissa. Thank you. One more thing. Go ahead.
Well, I have a quick question not related to this. So for the t-shirts for the run.
Oh, hang on. I'll end the recording and we'll go over that really quick. We'll get to that. We won't say goodbye, but we'll end this because I think the endocrine system, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone else with this endocrine system. I think you did a great job. If you have questions, please let us know. We have Food drive is, or the
Wednesday,
food
tomorrow.
is tomorrow, coming tomorrow. Fantastic. I get some good raw milk and good meats. So that's tomorrow. We have the run is this weekend too for the polar bear run, weather permitting, but it's the polar bear run. What do you expect? It's going to be 90? It's not going to be 90. It's polar bear. So it's going to be cold. All right. So get out there and we appreciate you. We'll see you guys again 2 weeks from now. We're not going to tell you the topic because I like you just on the edge of your seat waiting to see what's coming. So awesome. Thank you guys again for doing this. Karissa, excellent job. Guys, thanks for your help. And we'll end the recording. Don't go anywhere.